Hey, it's Hickok 45 here. Show you what we got today. Oh, beautiful Henry rifle 4440. Not bad, huh? A new service 45 Colt. Ooh, one of my favorites. Couple of classics here. Yeah. Got a couple of targets out there waiting on us. So we'll get right at it here in a minute and wear a couple of them out. How's that sound? Oh, making you dizzy, right?
You're down in Tennessee where freedom is alive. His shots ring take on 45. She's forever and he probably should. There's comments here in Nashville make you never wake up free. Life is good. He's always shooting down in the woods. Life is good. He wouldn't leave you in life is good. Life is good.
All right. Yes, life is very good. Good to be with you again for Sunday shoot around. Yes, I have a confession to make. I brought the wrong gun. Don't bring the wrong gun. Actually, that's how you look at it. I might have brought the wrong ammo. I'll talk about that. But anyway, welcome to Tennessee, the home of lots of cool people. Oh, I even made a note or two. Davy Crockett, Elvis Presley, Sam Houston, Chet Atkins. Who else did I come over? Yeah, Morgan Freeman, Greg Allman, Pat Summitt, Mookie Betts, baseball player, right? I saw his dad at FedEx. It was funny. I was shipping a gun back to Bud's. Imagine that. When was that? A year ago? 2 years ago? I don't know. And I was at the main shipping center in Nashville, and there was a guy in there talking, an older fella talking to him about his son, bragging on his son and all this stuff. And I kind of, first impression was, okay, this guy, is he okay? And he was all excited about his son coming home or something like that, whatever it was, or going to see his son. I think he was going to see his son, And the more he talked, the more I realized, this guy knows what he's excited about something. It turned out it was Mookie Betts' father, and he was going up to see a game, and maybe it was the playoffs. I don't know, but interesting. I'm not a baseball, I don't follow it that much, but I knew the name. So anyway, glad that you're here. It's kind of cold. I'm wearing some gloves, for a change. When you stand for an hour and don't move around, you get colder. Do I need to tell you that? It's because I can be out messing around and doing stuff, and on a day like today, as long as I'm dressed well, I don't really, freeze or notice it that much. Keep moving, doing something. Dressed right, and but I've noticed just standing, talking for 60 minutes or more, you really do. You get rather chilly. Do I need to tell you that? Now, I don't usually wear gloves much, but it's funny. These here I go off topic. What is off topic for me? I live off topic, right? Copper fit. I'll give them a plug, right? I picked up a pair of these at Home Depot a couple of weeks ago. So I had a stack of them. The problem with gloves, the reason I never really wore them unless it's 20 degrees or something and I've got to be outside, or I'm sledding or in the snow or something, was you can't do anything. First time you try to get your keys out or a change or anything, and of course checking a phone or whatever, you got to take your gloves off. I just tend not to wear, and with firearms, manipulating ammo, everything's problematic. Some are better than others, but and these aren't necessarily going to keep you warm. But I really noticed that, wow, they're almost like not having gloves. They're almost like surgical gloves or something. So I don't know how much they help with warmth at all, but even if it's like 10%, it's enough, I guess. But I was amazed. Actually, I can still work the phone. That's pretty amazing. And you can, it's just like not having them on. Pretty amazing. Anyway, free plug. But yeah, I had a confession. You saw the 45 slugs, 45 Colt slugs I brought for that new service revolver that you saw lying on the table. Well, I don't know how that happened. I do, yeah, I do. Because I had just had it out and looking at it or cleaning it, and then I put it back where I knew where it was and everything. I grabbed it today, and even when I had it out before, I was thinking, what was I thinking? I was thinking it was one of my other new service revolvers, commercial, and I looked on. Oh, okay, that's my military. That's the 1909, model. Yeah, cool. Yeah, and I thought I think I'll shoot that Sunday. I haven't shot it for a while, so I grabbed this, bring it over, and I was about to load it, and I was going to actually open shooting this, and I thought, what? Did I bring the wrong ammo? What is the wrong ammo? I don't have pistol cartridges bigger than 45 Colt, fatter, and it wouldn't go in. It dawned on me, even as dumb as I am, you know what I did, don't you? I got the wrong gun. I've got the 45 ACP, the 1917 Colt. So it needs a different cartridge, 45 ACP. So I guess I won't shoot that. I thought, I'm not going to go back to the house and get that ammo, because you know what else I was going to do? Got the Henry, you notice that, shoot that. And at first I had decided, I think I'm just going to shoot my 642 since I carry it a fair amount. And so it's no problem. I've got a handgun. I was going to shoot this anyway. And so it was in my pocket. I'm going to unload it. My carry ammo, carry plus P, 38 special plus P in it. It's a 642 38 special. And to shoot it. So I don't know. The heavens just knew I needed to shoot my 642, really, because I've been carrying it, and it's a no-no to carry something that you're not, shooting occasionally. I don't care how much you have shot it in the past, you do need to fire the thing, right? So I'm going to put some 158 grain lead rounds in here and take a couple of shots with it. Make sure I can shoot with it. I haven't shot it for a while. Yeah, I'm ashamed to say, it's been a while. All right, let's just shoot something like that target. Boom. 2-liter. All right, still shoots. Still shoots like it always did. And that's part of the reason I'm probably a little bit hypocritical to some extent. We expert gunnies, right? Always advise you to shoot your carry arms and, stay in practice and shoot and train if you can and all that. We might be guilty too of not shooting enough, something that we carry. In my case, I'll justify it sometimes because I shoot so much, and I've shot this gun a lot, and guns like it a lot, and I just do always feel comfortable. I can pull it out and I can hit, particularly where it's going to be 5 yards, 3 yards, I'm not going to have a problem, I think, but it's good to shoot them, isn't it? So everything worked out great, right? Glass is half full. Brought the wrong ammo, the wrong gun, actually, and now, if I'd brought the wrong ammo, that would have been interesting, wouldn't it? If I had grabbed 45 ACP by mistake and come over here and then, I got the wrong ammo. Oh, heck, man, Oh, I got the wrong gun too. And guess what? They match. It's like having two wrong socks that match, right? So what am I going to talk about? I don't know. By the way, this is 4440, the Henry. If you haven't seen it yet, you don't know. This is the 1860 Henry. It's an original. It's called the original Henry because Henry Rifle Company made it. It's a reproduction of the original Henry, which is basically a Winchester, Oliver Winchester firearm. William or Tyler Henry. I get this name. Yeah, he was a lot of the genius behind it. And carrying on the Smith & Wesson designs and everything. in the 1860 or 61, whenever 62 it finally came out. But that was the same company. Oliver Winchester was the owner at that time, I think. And then in 1866, they changed the name to Winchester, the company even. And then so the modern Henry Rifle Company just took the name. Okay, I have to constantly explain that to people. Not that I have a grudge against the Henry Rifle Company that made this. I love this rifle. They have the best reproduction, I think, of this rifle ever made. It's just a gorgeous rifle and well made. But they're just not the same company. A lot of people think they are. Like Springfield Armory. A lot of people think that's the same company, the Arsenal, that made our firearms for the United States for so many years. But, I mean, yeah, you can't blame people for taking the names of the historical, companies. If I was going to start out a car company, might call it Packard, right? Or Cadillac, how's that? So, oh boy, yeah, it's got a lot going on this week, and I'm a little earlier. So if the world blows up Saturday afternoon, and I don't say anything about it Sunday morning, that's why. Okay. So you don't know what is going to happen to you these days. So before I get into that, right now we would be out west. That makes it even colder right here today. That's why I put the gloves on. Yeah, middle of January, we would be on the road driving through whatever, New Mexico right now, Las Vegas, be in normally in Tombstone, having a cigar, walking down the boardwalk, and watching the horses in the stagecoach and all that. Eating at where's it we eat? I forget the name of the place we eat usually. There's 2 or 3, but then we have a cigar there in the cigar shop. What is it called? I can't even think of that right now. But yeah, here I am in cold old Tennessee instead this year. But that's okay. That's okay. And just enjoying the craziness, right? It's interesting, and I'm not going to say too much about all this stupid politics. And I meant to say more last week and got off track, but so many people really seem to appreciate the fact that I did not. Like one person maybe or someone gave me a hard time for not talking about all the goings on last week. But really just person after person after person I saw were just relieved, and that's really the majority of our audience does not want to hear all that, it seems, and we don't want to spend a lot of time on it. I talk about it, of course, in terms of the Second Amendment, quite often, right? But we don't get into the party politics. I've got my own personal thoughts. I lean libertarian, and very strongly, and I get weary of all of it. I really do. There are people, I appreciate their opinions, in the big media. I could name them off. Probably a lot of the people that you all have some respect for, you wouldn't agree with everything, but whether it's Greg Gutfeld or Tucker Carlson or some of the people that kind of cut through a lot of the bunk, and don't just fall right along party lines all the time. But I'm really getting extremely weary of it. I find myself watching more movies and not watching as much news, not any channel, whether it's Fox, CNN, or anything. They really do build the narrative. That's how they keep you watching. Now, within those narratives, or within those walls, there are some people that are really smart and don't play the narrative game as much, so you have to pick and choose. And of course you can find it online. You can find interviews and pieces of shows and that from the people you like. You don't have to sit and just watch the news all day. Wow, talk about zombies. I think it would turn you into one. And it's just so much going on, and I'm not sure who's entirely right and who's entirely wrong. And I don't follow it as closely as some of you. I've gotten to where I don't follow it as closely as I used to. I'm getting, I don't know about burned out, but just so weary of it that I kind of backing out a lot on that, especially the party politic side of it. Not even though we don't, promote one party over another. I even personally, I'm getting tired of it. I really am. Yeah. Now you can't get too tired of it. If you have firearms, as I continually remind you, you've got to stay, plugged into the point where you know what's being proposed and who's doing it, and then who you need to not vote for, who we need to vote out of office to at least have a fighting chance, and those sorts of things. This has gotten crazy. We're in the twilight zone in so many ways, and I just keep thinking, boy, do we really need some adults in the room? The phrase adult in the room. We are in bad need of an adult in the room, except we're in bad need of a lot of adults in the room, aren't we? Like how many? Hundreds, that we don't have. And it's just crazy. So many people just trying to stay elected, get elected, and get the attention, and again, you see it online, you see it in the firearms community, you see it everywhere. The ultimate goal is to get attention. Like all of us, we want to get views, right? But so much of it, some of it is just really so self-serving. You've got some people that are trying to out Second Amendment the other guy, and if you don't fall in exact line with them or somebody, then you're almost a traitor, to the cause and all this kind of thing. It's really like middle school blown up, as I've talked about before, and it just permeates every area of human endeavor, really, and every area of conversation and media, no matter what it is. The firearms community, whatever that is not immune to any of that, because it's so huge, which is good. We've got over 100 million gun owners, and with 100 million adults, wow, what is that percentage-wise of the population? I don't know, half or more. So you've got so many people that you're going to have some real intellectuals, some real dummies, a lot of people in between. You're going to have some drama queens. You're going to have all the same personalities and people that you see in every other aspect of life, right? And it's really not a negative thing. It's a good thing. If the firearms world owners was just this little bitty niche of people, of a few thousand or even a million or something, maybe they would all be kind of a homogeneous group of people. I don't know. They would never bicker with each other. They'd always agree with each other. But yeah, we're talking a gigantic portion of the population. So that's going to happen. And of course, you mix in social media with that, and you get which makes everybody a little bit weird, doesn't it? Most people. So you get a strange mix there too. So everybody doesn't agree with you as a FUD, right? That's just kind of the way it is. So you got the mall ninjas against the FUDs, going on all the time, and it just never ends, right? So basically, if you're into firearms, you enjoy firearms, you are so welcome to the firearms community, at least the one I feel like I'm a part of and that hopefully I represent. You really are welcome. You may not agree with everybody. You may even be supportive of a political party that so many people are always slamming, or whatever it might be. Whether you're Republican, you're Libertarian, you're a Democrat, you're conservative or liberal, you're welcome to the firearms community. Get into it and enjoy it, and don't be dissuaded from everybody else. Don't be spit on, and just go shooting, go compete. Okay. Buy guns, get ammo if you can, and enjoy the hobby. And again, I would encourage you to stay politically active and be quite aware of who the folks are that are trying to really limit your rights. Okay, that's all we ask, is to stay tuned in and don't be oblivious to where the threats are coming from, okay, whether it's either side or the middle or whoever, okay, and that's it. That's it. Gee, all this mess going on. If it's just gotten so crazy that I'm going to stay even more out of the fray when it comes to like party politics, because I mean people are getting rabid on both sides. They really are, foaming at the mouth on both sides because of events and different things that have happened, and it's a crazy time. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Support whoever you want to support. Let's not get violent. The place to get really fired up is well, at home first. Get really fired up enough to get out of the chair, off the couch, and go vote. Okay, write letters, call your congressman. Okay, get really fired up to do that. Okay, at least, right? Never any place for violence. That's the whole thing. We firearms owners have been promoting forever, that we're not violent. We're not violent sorts. We're calm. We're enjoying firearms, and it's a hobby. It's a sport, and if we ever really need them, we have them, right? For self-protection, protection against any force, whether it's a tyrannical government, whether it's your neighbor or home invaders, whatever it might be. It's our right, and we're going to exercise it. So anyway, I didn't mean to rant that much, but I did. I did. I really did. Can I shoot some more? Okay, I'm going to shoot this beautiful Henry rifle. Again, 4440 is the caliber. I think when they made this reproduction, Henry rifle, I made this reproduction of the Henry rifle from the old days. I think because it was originally in 44 rimfire, I think they just wanted to, I don't know, make it as authentic as they could, and boy, they did. The caliber, there's only so much you can do with that. Where are you going to go buy 44 rimfire ammo? See any of that at Walmart or your local gun shop? Not really, right? So I guess that's why they introduced it in 4440, because that's an old cartridge too. So it's 45 Colt. Let's see, yeah. I was trying to compare who's older. They're the same age, right? The 4440, which is called the 44 Winchester centerfire, in 1873, came out in the 1873 rifle. Okay, they were introduced together, and then the 45 Colt came out the same year in the Colt Single Action Army. Okay, had to get my brain cells going there, remind myself, yeah. So it was a big year, 1873. We have a video. I think we just called it 1873, or it was a big year or something like that. And it's also the same year the 4570 came out. The trapdoor carbine, big year, yeah. So, and you notice after I fired my last shot, I did not eject the case. That's the way I operate lever guns, as I've said before, and it's just a really good safety. Just there's an empty cartridge, a case, under the hammer right now. Okay, you don't believe me? There it be. That's just the way I operate. Almost don't need to put my ears on. I tell you, this thing is so sweet to shoot, and almost quiet. Let's put one on Mr. Gong again. How about a 2-liter? How about a hog? Oh, good hit, right in the shoulder. Yeah, right in the shoulder. I think that's where you're supposed to hit. Like I said, I don't really hunt, but I know enough to be dangerous a little bit about, where you want to try to hit, that kind of thing. In case I ever have to survive, right? In the wilderness, it might come in handy, just knowing that. Man, this is so cold. And again, I want to thank, of course, Ballistol and Talon grips. Hey, those are kind of like Talon grips. Maybe they should make some gloves. I think I'll talk to them. What else was I going to talk about? Lie about, make up stories about. Like I said, we got stuff going on this week. I'll tell you about later. Oh, I know what I got. I wrote down a quotation. I pulled off a comment. There's all these myths about the ammo shortage going around. Imagine that, conspiracies about anything. When anything unusual happens, conspiracies just start sprouting, don't they? It wouldn't matter what it is. If it was some major change in the weather or whatever, a shortage of tires or gasoline, toilet paper, ammo, you name it. There are people ready. They're at the keyboard. I know why this is happening. I know why this is happening. Yes, the tires. Let's say there's a shortage of tires. It's who would it be? It's the maybe it's the bus transportation industry. They're trying to get people on buses and get them out of cars, and it's a conspiracy. It was caused by. There'd be a conspiracy, right? There's you never know. Sometimes one might be true, right? Not discounting that possibility, but I think it helps. It helps to understand human nature, doesn't it, to get through life? Because there are probably people, hopefully not any watching, but with young people, sometimes older people, just fall for these conspiracies, and just thrive on them. And on the internet, of course, you can really get sucked into all that stuff, because there's always proof. There's always all this evidence, right? No matter what it is, there's all this evidence. And when I say human nature, well, and just understanding the way the world works, you can take almost any happening, any occurrence, any event of any significance, and you can go back and piece things around, and you can really twist that and create a narrative to support almost any conspiracy you want to. It's just the nature of things that are complex. Really, it's it's just like thinking about all the different interpretations of some of the great literature, Shakespeare, the Bible, or whatever. There's just so much argument and so many interpretations, just because it is complex. And when things are really complex, like religion or government, then it's easy to just believe lots of different things about it, because there's a little bit of evidence for almost anything. You can pull the pieces out of context or even in context, and you can create a narrative that makes sense. It really can, going about in any direction. And so you got to just be aware of that. Just be aware of that, because if you're not, and then someone presents some pretty logical case for something, you'll just fall for it. It might be true, but just knowing though that somebody with some intelligence, fairly articulate, can make a pretty convincing case for almost anything. Anything, really. And so you want to be aware of that, okay, and not just fall for stuff too easily. And so, but anyway, I got off on that with the ammo shortage. Same thing, there's all these conspiracies, and plus a lot of people, they just are born thinking the world's out to get them, right? Eaten up with sometimes just hate. I had bad life, bad parenting, or an unfortunate life sometimes. Sometimes I think people who have a very fortunate life, not much to do, nothing to think about, they don't have to work much to survive, they might get sucked into this stuff too, pretty easily. But like with an ammo shortage, you see people, they just know the government's behind it, or the ammo companies are hoarding it. There's all these different conspiracies. Well, yeah, I don't know. Just because we're sponsored by an ammo company, I don't really talk with them about this sort of thing really much. But I do. Enough. I know they're making ammo as quickly as they can. They really are. And it's just the demand. What were the 5 to 8 million new shooters? All these new guns, they're looking for ammo. And then, of course, the perfect storm this past year with the virus, and the elections and everything. It was just the perfect time for this to happen and to be worse than it's ever been, which it is. Yeah, it really is. So, but anyway, someone at the comment said, what was it? Wish Federal wouldn't be sitting on ammo, screwing the little guy, you know. And I thought, oh man, and that's kind of an extreme one, I guess. You know, like Federal's going to sit on ammo. They're trying to supply, just as Winchester and anybody else is trying to supply everybody they possibly can. And of course, it's being shipped. And you may know a little shop or something that's telling you they're never getting anything or whatever, but it's going to gun shops. It's going to places. They're just not getting much. If you've got a gun shop in your town or on the corner or whatever, and if they get, I don't know, they might get a case of 9mm tomorrow. They may get 3 cases of 5.56 the next day or whatever. You go in the 4th day, and the shelves are bare. There's nothing. You know, every time you go in there, there's nothing. You know, or there's one box of 5.56 and it's $30 or whatever it is. But it's going out there. You know, it's just it's getting scarfed up the second somebody knows it's there, right? So it's actually just like if I get a case of 5.56, that'd be nice to get another one. But you know, it's just nice, you know. But the gun shop over here and the gun shop over there, they might be getting the same thing, but it's just gone within, you know, 10 minutes, you know. And so every time we go in to a gun shop, they're out of it, you know. So we have this impression that they're never getting even one round in there, you know. And also some people are getting the impression that because I've got a little ammo, I'm the only one getting ammo in there. Well, it's because you're seeing me shoot and I've got some. It's in everybody's basement now, these gun shops you're going into, right? Or from online or whatever. But anyway, I'm just kind of talking off the top of my head, thinking, again, human nature and just the way things work. But anyway, one thing that's really telling, speaking of human nature and just kind of knowing the way people can be, if I hear someone say something like that, like the big company or whoever it was Walmart or Walgreens or whoever it is, screwing the little guy, you know. When someone talks like that, now this might sound harsh, okay, so forgive me, I don't mean to be violent or sound harsh, but someone who talks like that, you know, the little guys like us, it's to me, that guarantees that person will always be the little guy, right? That person will never be the big guy, whatever that is. In other words, that person that thinks like that and has that mentality, the little guy, you know, they're just kind of destined. They've got a glass ceiling. You know, the term is used a lot with like women's upward mobility and that kind of thing. A glass ceiling is definitely more seriously right above that person's head than any female or anybody, you know, in the corporate world. There's a glass ceiling there, whether they know it or not. They're not going to get beyond that because they're thinking that way, right? Thinking that way. So, and again, I talk with some authority on this. I don't know about authority, but I taught school for 29 years. You know, I've not been this like huge success that I don't say it much. I mean, this is pretty successful, I guess you'd say. And I felt like I was a good teacher. I was pretty successful. I played basketball on a small scale, I guess, and different things. But, you know, I mean, I've just been all over the board on things. I've observed a lot of people, a lot of locker rooms, dorm rooms, how people think, how they act, and the characteristics that keep people from moving on, moving up, doing anything significant. Y'all that play sports know what I'm talking about. It's more evident, I think, in sports. You know, I'm no saint, but it just always bothered me. There's something about it. The guys on the team, whether it was high school or in college, they were always grousing about things and about their playing time, always, and bad-mouthing the coach and that kind of stuff, sitting around the locker room or a dorm and stuff. It's like, I mean, it sounds kind of juvenile, in a way. Coaches are always preaching to us about attitude, and some of that, the standard lines coaches always use. They sometimes go in one ear and out the other, but it still has a whole lot of validity. It really does. Attitude. It really makes you what you are. And it's so easy to get sucked into those people, those negative Nellies. It really is, isn't it? It just really is, because it's so much easier to blame those people in charge. Just so much easier. Whether it's your boss, or it's the cops, the teachers, whoever it is that has some authority over you. It's so much easier. Your manager at work, to just call them stupid, sit in the break room and gripe about them, how dumb they are and all this kind of thing. Some of them might be, but most are not. And it's just kind of human nature to do that. And I think that's why I hate to just fall victim to human nature. I like to feel like I'm above human nature and those common instincts that tug at all of us, Like, okay, let's just give that person a break if at all possible. And they're like the cops. Hey, gosh, everybody's had a bad car stop when you weren't really speeding much, or you had a taillight out and you're in a hurry and they stop you, and or a cop that's got an attitude. Yeah, they're just like everybody else. They're really not paid very, very well. They have a lot of stress on the job, and sometimes they're not very polite. But of all the stops I've had, and I've had quite a few, I only remember a couple where the guy was really, really obnoxious. And one of those, he thought I was, because I tend to, if I see the light go on, I immediately look for the best place to turn off. And if there's a driveway up there a little bit further, whatever, but he was so mad because I kept rolling a little bit. I was trying to get up there where there was room to get off the road, But generally speaking, they've always been very friendly, very nice, extremely so. And I've gotten out of a lot of tickets, but not a lot. I don't speed that much, but I have gotten out of a couple of tickets by, and just being human to them, because there's another thing. It's so human nature. You get stopped by a policeman to be in a bad mood, And, what was I doing? I wasn't speeding. How many times do you think they hear that a day? How many times do they hear that? Like every time they stop somebody, 99% of the time? And I've never been stopped when I wasn't doing something. So my first question is usually, sorry, officer, how fast was I going? Or I didn't think I was going that fast, or I know I was a few miles. I just throw out the total honesty with them. If I get a ticket, I get a ticket. I'm not going to start trying to make a case that I was not speeding at all. Okay? Unless that's the case, and that's never really been the case. Or I don't even know why they stopped me. I've been stopped with taillights out or license tag light out, some different things like that before. And brake light out or something. And very nice. So, hi, officer, how you doing? What's up? Was I speeding? Or rather than, I wasn't speeding. You don't get anything from that. Not another thing. But anyway, I got off on that. The thing is, most people are pretty civil, and they're good folks. If you give them a chance, right? And that's just a fact of life. It really is. And I don't know, a lot of that attitude is karma. It just comes back at you, what happens. Instant karma. So what else am I going to talk about? I'm going to shoot some more, can I? Can I shoot this new service, this model 1917? No, I can't, because I don't have the ammo. Weren't you listening earlier? I can shoot this, though. My 642. Oh, no. I hope you're not a revolver hater. Nah, it's okay. That just makes more for the rest of us, right? Especially these days. Hey, that's a good point. These days, you Glock haters, we love you, because that makes maybe a Glock available to someone who really wants one. All right, let's put my ears on and shoot this thing. Let's put it in the pocket holster, and I'll put it in my pocket. How's that? Even with these awkward gloves. See if I can hit anything. I'm gonna get this barrel. I'm gonna shoot this barrel sticking out over the table if I'm not careful. All right, Mr. Revolver, are you ready to come out and shoot? Yeah. Oh, I thought I had 6. I just have 5, right. These little things continue to amaze me. That's why I have a couple of them. A little 642. They're lightweight, but up and close. And you know, I repainted the sights too recently. I got some sight paint. Notice that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get too close. I know we're supposed to keep our social distance here. If you can see that, yeah, I got some new orange paint on there and everything. So, I mean, you almost wouldn't have to worry about the sights at all. I mean, it's boom. So, anyway, as I said about revolvers, I know there's a lot of talk about revolvers, and I'm getting hoarse here. On the internet, there's videos and discussions and everything else about reliability and all that. And there's a lot of really good points made on both sides of that. You know, there's just good arguments on both sides of the revolver versus semi-auto and all that. But I still say, because you got your limited capacity and those issues, but I still say the first 6 shots, if you've got it cleaned, you've tested your revolver, like this one's working, okay? I can run a patch through there and, you know, everything's working. Load it, put it back in my pocket, and it's going to work. It'd be a really freak thing for this not to work, to jam up, because I got good ammo in it. You know, there's nothing rubbing the recoil shield. It's good quality factory ammo, and it's going to work. I'd bet my life on it. Okay, I do bet my life on it that those 5 shots are going to work. Now, if you have to reload, you're in trouble anyway. If you have to reload, but maybe you could get a case, stuck up under the star. You could get some dirt up there, some powder residue. That normally happens with hand loads or after you've shot one quite a few times and all that. But it could happen if you had to reload, and it's not likely, but it could. But those first shots, though, even with a reload, it's unlikely if your gun's working you're going to have trouble. So I think capacity is the biggest argument, with that. I really do. And even though they are very complex, I've pointed that out. You take the plates off these things, oh my gosh, and you look at how that thing operates and what it takes. You think, whoa, I'm betting my life on that. But they work. Man, I have had so many revolvers, mostly Smith & Wesson, but a lot of Colts, and spent so much time on the range with them. And of any problems I have had, it's what I've just talked about. It's something to do with the star extractor dirty and not closing all the way, or something like that. Once or twice, a bullet jumped the crimp, maybe, and kept the cylinder from turning with some hand loads or something. That's usually more of a problem with like really hot rounds, 454 Casal or something. So it's usually something like that. As complex as that mechanism is, and as many things that have to work right, it's kind of like your car engine. Think about how complex that is, and everything has to work right. Well, it tends to work when you get in there and start it up, unless it's worn and you have a problem. You have a problem. You've got 250,000 miles on the car, and something could happen. But it's about as likely to work as when I start my relatively new Yukon. It's going to start, and these are going to work. So my little discussion on that. I hope you saw the Slugfest. Some of you have been asking for a Slugfest, and brought one to you, right? I told you we've been fortunate with the shutdown of everything. John and I have done several videos, and you'll see them in all kinds of weather. And we've just had a lot of fun this year, doing a lot of different kinds of videos. And we're going to continue doing some hitting this winter as well. Because I'm out here today. I'm out here on Sundays. There are times when we'll have a week of weather where you just don't really want to do much outside. Most of the time in Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, you get weather like this every few days, or it's cold, but it's not horrible. Not horrible can live through it. In fact, it's easier out doing a video than even just standing and talking at you in some ways. Who knows? But I feel like there was something I wanted to talk about and I didn't do it. I know what I could do. Can I load up this and some ammo here? Yeah. For this 4440. This is one that Federal doesn't load for. So to find ammo where I can, I got some a while back from Buffalo Outlaw Cowboy Action Ammunition. Sent us a whole case of it, so I've been still working on that, about down to the end of it. But I just kind of look for this where I can. I bought some old jacketed rounds too. Man, those are expensive. Of course, everything's expensive right now. But it'll get better. I think it's going to be a while. I really do. It's going to be a while. We're keeping an eye on what we have and what Federal can send, because we want to stay in operation unless y'all want us to quit. You know, if it makes you feel so bad to see us shoot, let me know. I know. If I were not doing these videos, for example, I would crank back like a lot of you have, to where I just wasn't shooting very much. I mean, I've shot so much in my life. I enjoy doing it, but I would still shoot occasionally, make sure I got my carry guns, you know, I'm up with that and in practice, and shoot my bolt guns and things every now and then, a few rounds. And I'd be good, you know, without blowing through tons and tons of rounds, of course. But for what we do, to keep doing what we're doing, we do need to shoot some, all right? And I feel like we're hopefully providing a little bit of a service. And how's that for rationalization? we're shooting for you all, right? Well, there's deals where I really don't want to do it. I really don't want to shoot, but it's just for you, okay? I'm thinking about you. So anyway, the old Henry 4440, it's a fairly heavy rifle if you've ever held one. You know, that's one thing you can do in a gun shop. You could, you know, just pick up rifles and hold them and see how they feel, even if you're not planning to buy it, right? All right, 4440, Western round. Let's go on out there. I love it. I knew I was going to get clicked that time. I wasn't even counting. Just had a feeling. So if you didn't see it at the beginning there, you came late. There it is. Oh, we got a little sun on it now. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, that's a pretty rifle. This is the one I killed those zombies with. And strain 100, by the way. This is the exact rifle I saved that young lady with and that little girl. So that rifle is really historical now. It has put some zombies under. You saw it happen in the movie. So yeah. So do I have any advice for young people before I go? Before you go? They're all gone already, right? The young people. I don't know. Well, you know, it is tough times. It's crazy times. My advice to younger people, really everybody, is try to limit the news you watch. Really. Try, like I was saying earlier, try not to get sucked into those narratives, because, and again, a news person's forte, their expertise, their job, they excel at making, you know, anchors and whoever, at making things that are not that important sound really important. Really, that's their whole job. I mean, of course, a lot of people that do videos and post them on YouTube, you know, whatever the topic is, it's you're trying to, they are trying, I don't know if we do that, but you're trying to make something seem so much more important than it really is. to get people to watch it, through your whatever, your thumbnail, your title, being very, very dramatic about whatever it is. It's, and because, as we know, people are pretty shallow lots of times. A lot of people are just sheep and they fall for anything. And if someone seems excited or has a lot of charisma and they're very convincing about something, it works, and news people, that's their whole job. They go to school to learn to talk that way. I mean, think about it. You watch one of your anchors, pick out any show, and as they're reading the news and talking about things, it's the inflection, it's wow. They just, is that the way you talk around the house? Right. Or if you were talking about that news story or whatever. Sometimes you don't even think about it, realize it, but if you'll notice it and be aware of it, some line or a story they're talking about, and wow, the way they said that, it was like they were talking about, California had an earthquake today and fell off the continent or whatever. And it's just something that's totally irrelevant, though. So it's funny to pay attention to that. But so anyway, try not to get sucked into that, and the politics, the local or national politicians, the media, and make that your life. It's not really your life. I mean, how much do they affect your day-to-day life? They have very little effect on my day-to-day life, even with the 4 years coming up and whatever it is. Some of the aspects of it may affect my life, I don't know, tax-wise or whatever. Gun control would be a major thing we're all concerned about. But, by and by in your day-to-day life, who your governor is and who your president is, even who your senator is, it quite often doesn't make this massive difference in your day-to-day life. Now, sometimes it can, as we're learning, and we have learned, who's elected. Elections matter. I'm not saying they don't. They matter a great deal. But then again, they often don't have as much effect on your day-to-day life, week-to-week life, as we pretend or tend to think it does sometimes, to the extent where we're depressed. You're right? Think the world's coming to an end. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? I mean, life is short. I mean, you don't want to live life in a tizzy over that to where you're just depressed over what politicians are in office this month. I mean, life's too short to just totally give up or be depressed, of your politician not winning or even winning. Go around in a state of bliss because your politician won, or a state of depression because your politician lost. Again, not to say elections don't matter, because they do in some ways. So stay in touch with the right people, locally and nationally, and don't use it as an excuse to hate on people, because that's what's happening, isn't it, to a large extent. To discriminate against people, hate on people, consider them less than human or not valuable. I mean, and we're going back to the old days of discrimination, really, in a different sort of way. It's so crazy. This identity politics has led us to this, right? And it's just really bizarre. I've lost faith in politicians in recent years because we're so divided that this side is constantly telling you how evil the other side is, and vice versa. And it's silly stuff, right? They're, again, making a big deal out of it, acting like it's murder is a huge deal, and it's not really anything. That happens on a daily basis and has for many years. As I've said many times, it wouldn't. Sometimes it's more so with certain parties, for sure. But I've often said over the years that it really wouldn't matter what they come on the news and tell me about the president or anybody. I'm not going to believe it, or I'm not going to care. I'm not going, because they're also busy making a mountain out of a molehill, that if something really happened, and that's the sad thing about it all, if somebody in politics is actually does something that is really, really atrocious or dangerous, totally evil, I probably would never know about it. You know why? Because I'm just not going to believe anybody in politics or anybody in the media that tells me what they did. They have no credibility. They have no credibility, really. And so yeah, we're left with that. And since we lost all the objective news coverage years ago, it's all just this side against that side, then there's no credibility. Who do you believe? You know, it's all politics. So, you know, so ironically, they have even more of a license to get by with murder, because who's going to call them on it if their own party does not? Then you're not going to believe, you know, anything that the other side has to say about it, right? They've cried wolf too many times, so shouted fire, however you want to phrase it. So, but anyway, try not to let that get to you, because it's just if you want to let something really get to you, just, I guess, be disappointed in human nature. I think, as I said last week, it's and try not to be one of those people, right? Try to develop some integrity, whether it's through a religion or not. Try to develop some sense of morality, integrity, do the right thing, treat people the right way, always tell the truth, and you know, just don't deceive people. Don't worry about what the other person is doing. Take care of your own business. You know, like I said last week, we have so many busybodies in the world, many of them trying to control our firearms, right? Take them away, busybodies. And we don't want to be the same busybody, worrying about what everybody else is doing. Show me somebody who is worried about what other people are doing all the time, and I'll show you somebody who's probably not doing much themselves. Okay, and if they are doing something, it's adulterated. It's people aren't going to notice or care much about it, because they have I don't know, they've canceled that out by worrying too much and trying to control, you know, other people. So anyway, that's my little lame advice, and you better heed it. You better heed it, or I'll hate on you. So I'm going to let you go. I've talked too long again. It happens every week, doesn't it? And you'd think when it's kind of chilly, I'd get out of here after about 20 minutes. But I appreciate y'all coming around and enjoying these fine. Some feels loose. Check the screws on this thing. Appreciate enjoying these fine firearms with me. Man, anytime you shoot a lever gun, it's nice, and then a beautiful lever gun, it's even nicer. Yeah, it is. That's pretty wood too. You've seen it before. It's just the stock. There's no forearm. That was it. When they came out with the 1866, they improved it and put a forend on it and a loading gate on it. So it didn't last long not having a loading gate. But then when the company took the Henry name in recent decades, they started making them without loading gates. Again, I've had people tell me, well, Henry never did have a loading gate. So, okay, where do I start? This is not an original Henry you're talking about. This is a company that came along in, whatever, 1980s. I don't know, I forget when they came along. But so they were just making guns with brass frames, you know, and so they chose that name, Henry Rifle Company. I think it's Henry, yeah, Henry Repeating Arms. Yeah, it's Henry Repeating Arms is the name of the company, the new company. And so, but now they've started putting loading gates on them. So that's cool. They have both options, the tube and the loading gate. But now this one, the 1860 Henry, a historical firearm, even though this is a reproduction of it. They never had loading gate, okay? They loaded just like this. This is the way they were made, okay? It didn't last long, because the very next version, the 1866, they started putting loading gates on, like almost every lever gun through the 1800s, after that. So anyway, a little lesson there. But these old historical firearms are pretty cool. And again, isn't that amazing, that technology in 1860, 61? Whew. Hold that many rounds. It was black powder, of course, but it's cartridges. And there were a few of them used in the Civil War, not many. Been interesting if everybody had something like this in the Civil War, when they might have used different tactics, not just marched into each other, shot each other. But so anyway, the old Henry's pretty cool. And I'm sorry I didn't get to shoot the 1970, although I didn't mean to shoot this gun. I brung the wrong firearm. I brung this box of 45 Colt for no reason other than my own ignorance. And so I'll put those bullets back in there. You got to watch it with 4440 and 45 Colt. These are jacketed, so it's not a problem, but they look a lot alike. If you get like both of them that are jacketed, saw point, or they're both just lead, you have to study them and read the head. They look a lot alike. A little bit of difference, but not much. So I will load my, here's a good example. I don't know how many times did I shoot it. You know what, I'm gonna shoot a couple more, help clean the lead out. There shouldn't be much lead there, but I've got some jacketed ones here. Yeah, these are real light loads, but whatever lead's in there, if there's any, it'll help with. And again, we have a video on that. If you really have a barrel that's leaded up badly, you don't want to shoot jacketed rounds through it. It's not good. This gives me an excuse to shoot it again. Oh yeah. Yeah. As I always say, this is a keeper. That's a keeper. 5 sure shots. So yeah, I was about to say, I put these hollow points back in there. Big hollow points. Plus P38. And I will clean it. But until I do, later tonight, I'm in good shape. I'm not unarmed, okay? All right. So I have bored you all for another Sunday shoot around, and I really do appreciate you coming by. Probably lots of other things I could talk about and drag it out to 2 or 3 hours, but I won't do that, okay? And like I was telling somebody, was it in a comment, I don't know, someone asked me about it, about, oh yeah, he asked me about doing, I should do the video, do it Sunday morning as the sun comes up, and actually do the video as the sun's coming up or something like that, Yeah, it'd be kind of hard to do. I don't shoot before 10 o'clock just out of courtesy to my neighbors. And you don't realize when you yak for an hour and you have an hour video or hour and 15 minutes, whatever, it takes, at least with my setup, and it can't be too different because I've got a pretty good speed and on everything and computer and all that, but it takes, just to upload it from the camera to the computer, takes, wow, a long video like that, it might take like 45 minutes or an hour. I usually jump in the shower, or something and wait, but it's not uploaded. 45 minutes or an hour to upload, sometimes longer, to the computer. That's just to put it on the computer. And then to render it, get it to start rendering as a video. Rendering for an hour and a half video, hour and 15 minutes, it takes about, 3 or 4 hours. Okay. Then upload to YouTube, it might take a couple hours. So you got this long period of time. So it would become the late Sunday afternoon video, really late, So that's why I say, even doing them on Saturday, if I do it at noon on Saturday, it's like the rest of the day I don't have to stick right with it. It's just I'm waiting for it to upload to the computer and waiting for it to render for several hours and then to upload to YouTube. And if there's any issue with it, whatever, have to start over. So I often I've stayed up late on Friday night, Saturday night, sometimes even get it up there to where it's ready on Sunday morning. So I say I'm a little earlier this week because I got some stuff going on I'll tell you about. But I mean, I'm not like 4 weeks or something before Sunday, so just a couple of days. But so anyway, that'd be hard to say. But I did tell the guy that, you know, that's a kind of neat idea. Maybe we'll do that sometime. I'll just do a short one. See what you think about that. Just when it's warmer, come out really early on Sunday morning and do an archery thing. I haven't done that for a while. You know, we've done that a couple of times, I guess. Just, you know, the bow was what I was in the mood to shoot. And so we'd be making a lot of racket early in the morning. And, you know, maybe when the sun comes up, be shooting the bow a while and just, you know, yak at you for about 20 minutes and then go get it up by, you know, certainly by noon or something. Might do that just for a change of pace. They do an archery thing anyway, you know, whenever it is. It'll still be an hour or 3 or 4. So appreciate you all coming by. It's fun to come out in the woods and talk to you a little bit and talk about guns and all the cool firearms. I'm so lucky. I do have a variety of firearms, as you know, a lot of historical firearms, and I never take them for granted. Sometimes I do. I've told you before, I'm digging around in one of my gun safes or something, and one rifle or something falls over on me, or I can't find something, and I'll start to get irritated because I always got 1,000 things to do, you know. And I mean, I stop myself very, very quickly, you know, and remind myself that, oh my gosh, are you about to get upset with yourself or get mad because you have so many guns, you can't find one of them? Really? People out there who don't even own a gun, can't afford a gun, or can't afford a second gun or whatever, and you have so many that you get mad because one is buried so deep in the guns or whatever. You actually gonna get mad about that? You know, and I slap myself, and then I get over that very, very quickly. I really do appreciate, and I think about that, you know, pretty often, you know, as I look at certain guns and bring them out, take a couple shots, and remind myself really how cool it is. Really it is, you know, not on video and, you know, bragging about a gun I have or whatever. I didn't make them. But just really, and I've mentioned that to John recently, you know, how cool it is to be able to shoot, you know, a Civil War musket or a World War I, you know, revolver like this, if I had brought the right ammo, and, you know, and study it and know that it was carried in World War I, you know, and who knows where, and you know, just and got a lot of firearms like that, and that are just really interesting. Very interesting pieces of machinery, you know, at one level, and then also with history that's very interesting, even though you don't know the exact history, and you know, just learning more about them and then shooting them. Shooting is fun no matter what it is. Yeah, really. If you just had 3 guns or 1 gun, shooting is just fun. So everything else on top of that is gravy, and I've got some good gravy. Is what I'm saying, and I never take it for granted. So anyway, yeah, this would have been a nice gun to shoot today. It's too bad I'm so stupid, isn't it? Oh well, it keeps life interesting. It's like if you have dementia or Alzheimer's or memory problems or something like that, keeps life interesting. Every day is new, right? So there's an advantage to everything. It's like if you have really, really bad memory, you can watch a great movie like Tombstone. So I'm looking forward to those days. I don't have great memory, but I've got some memory. And I figure when my memory is about gone, I want it to just be working to where I at least know which room to go to get a glass of water, you know. I can watch Tombstone, one of my favorite Westerns. Just think about the advantages. I can watch it every day and enjoy the heck out of it, right? This is all new. I can pull up any of my favorite movies, a book I really enjoy, read them, and it'll always be for the first time. So that ain't bad, right? So it could be worse. Now I'll let you go. Shut up. I will shut up. So I will see you hopefully next week. And yeah, there'll be a week where I won't see you. We don't know when that'll be, do we? It might be 15 years from now. Maybe 20. It might be YouTube might shut us all down. It might be you might get shut down. You might drive off a cliff. I might drive off a cliff or something. We never know. But we will plan to get together next week, okay? And I promise you, I will next week. I'll be just as dumb as I was this week. Let's be honest, right? So I'll see you then. Life is good.